Hey, this is Matt once again. Welcome back to another videos, another paid request. This time for Retro Crypt. Thank you so much for that. And for those interested requesting any type of videos or topics, commentaries, what have you, feel free to send it either directly to my PayPal or join my Patreon. Both links are down below in the info box. And this was not my cup of tea. I hated this movie. I hated this movie. I hated this fucking movie, man. I know that the director's intention is to make a film to have you disturbed, unsettled, probably get you in the mindset of certain things. But, I mean, I've seen much worse. I mean, I saw a Serbian film. That's a film where it was a series of acts, including he's forced by gunpoint to fuck someone, and then when the hood is uncovered, he realizes he's fucking his own son, and the son's ass is bleeding. And it ends, one of the third act bits is the bad guy has a new idea for porn, and it's with newborn babies. I've seen Martyrs where half the film is a person being tortured again and again and again to a point then skinned alive because for some reason somehow that's going to lead the person to the brink of death, and then somehow we'll see the afterlife, and then somehow we'll give that information and you will know somehow that's the proof of it, even though the person could be saying anything, could be hallucinating, could be making shit up, could be anything in between. So you really would not have proof, you just have hearsay. So it's a stupid fucking plot, but it's just torture for half the movie. But the way this film is done, Irréversible from 2002, is it's done in reverse chronological order. Kind of like, well, Memento. But I like Memento. That's a good movie, in my opinion. So it starts with the end credits. Then it starts with, you know how a lot of times a movie ends, they'll give you single title cards of a name, and then it'll go to the end credits. So it's the end credits, then it's the single title card of names. But done this flitter to make you look epileptic. I'm sure this is all on purpose. Where I heard that if you saw this in the theater, there'd be some sound in the background that you technically couldn't hear, but was in a certain decibel to try to make your body uneased. And then like the first 25 minutes, the camera, and I'm not going to do this because I don't want to fuck up the camera, is doing the spin. Well, okay, I'll try. Like, imagine the camera keeps like doing this for like the first 25 minutes. And like there's a whole scene on the side like this. Like that's upside down, so like imagine like people's faces and bodies are on the side like this. There's a whole scene in a club that's almost filmed like this. And so many times the camera will just swirl like this. And I got so goddamn annoyed, I shut the movie off. I finished it, don't get me wrong, but I shut off because I was literally just getting seasickness. I'm sure that's probably the part of it. And I don't get seasick. I have seen over 100 found footage movies. I have never had that experience like I did with this. I'm sure, again, that's the big point of the director. Gaspar Gomez or Noé, what the fuck is his name? Gaspar Noé, what the fuck? Gaspar or something. The Diaz brothers. Who gives a shit? I don't give a fuck about this director. Don't give a fuck about watching any goddamn movies this guy does, if this is how he handles it. It's like watching a goddamn drunk bird put a camera on, or a fly If he's high on shrooms, you put little mini cameras. You're discombobulated, just like the characters. Ooh, you know how I prefer acting, dialogue, development of story. That's how I prefer it. And let's say it goes backwards. So you have like these two guys talking, and you think they're the characters we're following, but they're not. And why the director put this in, I don't know. As two characters, and one's like, I was in jail because the guy had sex with his daughter. And he's like naked, while the other guy is dressed, and they're like talking. And then the camera goes down with the fly on shrooms, camera work. And one's being put into an ambulance, and one is being arrested. Then the next scene, which is stuff that happened before that, was them going to this gay BDSM club called the Rectum. And it is a foreign film in subtitles. And this is where, again, the camera work, you cannot tell what the hell's going on. It's really like this. And I'm making it much more understandable what you could see compared, because it's dark, it's poorly lit, a bunch of guys' dicks you get to see, which is always great time for... Listen, the only dick I want to see is mine, maybe even in the mirror. But I don't want to hear about a guy wanting to fist in for 5 minutes. You don't, oh, you want to? They're looking for a guy called the tapeworm. You don't need him. Okay, fist me, fist me, fist me, fist me. Yeah, fist fuck your face, please. Okay, you're fist fucking my head. With the goddamn camera work and shit. Come on, fist me first. How about I put a fist in your mouth? For everybody. So we find the tapeworm, and the scene, one of the scenes people mention from this movie, the guy does a fire extinguisher, and with effects they make it look like in one take, he beats the guy, and then his face like gets pummeled. I could tell the CGI manipulation, so the scene wasn't really that effective to me compared to other people, and it makes sense because you need some type of scene transition because you can't really do that to a person. But it's like you just see... I could tell the CGI used in it. But it's still a graphic scene. And I mean, I've seen a lot of... with Brawl and Cell Block 99, with Vince Vaughn. I've seen other movies that have done that type of stuff. That's very brutal, to be fair. But the camera being all over the place, I literally had to stop and go, I don't know if I could get through this. If this is the entire movie, I don't know if I could physically get through this. Which, again, I'm sure is the point of the director. I don't care. That's just a gimmick. That's not proper, that's not storytelling. Let's not be feeling it because of the characters or the dialogue or the story or the plot or be feeling sorry for the characters' predicaments. I could do a fucking review and did something where the camera's turning, the 360, doing all this, and if you feel dizzy, did that really take much effort from me? No. It doesn't take a lot of talent to do that, is what I'm saying. It doesn't take a lot of talent to be like, just do this and have the first 25 minutes be like this. This doesn't take a lot of talent. So I'm not giving you a pass for what? So then as the movie goes forward, as we're going backwards, apparently the scene before that is them trying to find the club, and they talk to some person who you think is a lady, but then she's like, no, I'm a guy you're looking for, and shows her dick. She's a transvestite. Whoop-de-doo. You just saw 18 of them in the fucking club. The gay club. And listen, in a movie, honestly, that doesn't affect me because it's a movie. If it's in my face, no, not my cup of tea. I prefer the ladies, just my cup of tea. But in a movie, it's like, okay, whatever, you know. It's a movie, it's fake, I did it. Where's this story headed? And I knew of this film, so I knew typically where it was going, backwards. Before that, it's a cab that they took and they have to throw the driver out. Then before that, it's them before they got to the cab and find the information of the club. Then before that, it's this woman. I didn't realize till later it was Monica Bellucci. Monica Bellucci, not Bellucci, not James Bellucci. Monica Bellucci was in Shoot 'Em Up, a film I love with Clive Owen. And she was also Persephone in The Matrix 2 and 3. Kind of the little temptress that's worked with some of the programs in The Matrix Reloaded and Matrix Revolutions. She was one of the James Bond films. I forget which one it was. And she's done a lot of other stuff as well. But I remember her the most from Shoot 'Em Up because that's a very underrated movie to me. And she's walking down this underpass, and a guy. Of course, this is the purpose of what the director was going for. This is the one time now the camera stays still. And it's for us to witness this 10-minute rape scene. Where it doesn't look away, you can't look away, and a guy has her on the ground. She's facing this way, he's on top, covers her mouth. He's saying all these horrible words to her. This goes on for, again, probably like 7 minutes. And then the next couple minutes is just him punching her, kicking her. And there you go. So you get the idea. The two lead characters, one was a new boyfriend, one was a former lover. They were at a party. She left because one guy was being stupid. Went to the underpass. She got assaulted horribly. These guys want revenge. So it's a very basic plot that you've seen in plenty revenge movies. And just the way the director does it is, again, it just felt like a lot of gimmicks to either shock people or try to stand out from the pack. And hey, you got controversy, congrats. But to me, that doesn't make it a good movie. It doesn't make it... I guess you could say, yeah, it's effective, but not with talent. I don't care how mean... I don't give a fuck being mean. I don't know Gaspar. I don't give a shit. To me, this was being effective without taking any talent to do it. It's, what can I do? Okay, you are going to assault this lady and hump her to make it seem like you're having sex and raping her. So I'm going to just sit the camera down. We're going to film it like 3-4 times. Credit to Monica Bellucci for going through that. I mean, I don't know why she would say yes to this type of film, but oh well. And then also by doing it this way, what hurts the film is after that, the last 30 minutes, who gives a shit? Meaning, it's anticlimactic. Because we already knew how it ends, and now we got the big incident. So it's just now just people hanging out in a party, or they're talking to each other on a train, or whatever it was. Then the last scene is the beginning would be the beginning where she's in a park and looking at a book. And just going, okay, this is... Usually in films, it's supposed to be this elevation because this is why most movies are made like this to begin with. Who these characters are. Then you develop the incident. Then you're more pulled into the story. Then you want to see either... was the climax of any way, shape, or form, action-wise, emotional-wise, that crescendo. Now you're just kind of mundane, and you still don't know who these characters are even an hour in. You know, these two killed the guy in a day club, obviously for a reason. Then you find out the reason, and you know nothing about Monica Bellucci other than she left a party, she got assaulted. The incident itself is horrible, but you don't know them as characters, and you just. Then the last 30 minutes just feel anticlimactic. They feel like. Eh. You just saw the worst of it and the most visceral of it. Now it's just kind of. Okay, now they're talking about whatever, and honestly, you don't give a shit what they're saying because you already know the. I just don't really get the idea behind the film. I just don't really get the idea what the director was going for. I just don't. It's, you know, shock value. It's. I put this in the level of, like, I Spit. You know what? I honestly would say I Spit in Your Grave is a better movie than this. And I'm not a fan of I Spit on Your Grave. But that one, at least, because of the way it's done, told more of a flow of a story where a woman gets attacked and then at least she gets her revenge on the attackers. You may think it's a mundane, but at least she gets revenge on the attackers, and then she's did the boat. Now she stood up for herself and went off and tried to live the rest of her life. This, because the way it starts with the ending, you don't know what happens to these two guys. One's been arrested. Will they be able to find out that this guy did these horrible acts? But Monica Bellucci, did her character? Maybe is she still in a coma? Will she get out of it? You never know. So I just don't see what you get out of this, other than, I guess, to see a different type of experience that I don't really see the point of why this experience needed to exist in the first place. So yeah, I just don't get the whole fucking point of everything. You know, if I want to see at least Memento, it being in reverse, the way it was done because, number one, the frame of mind of the lead character, and because there was a mystery. It made sense doing it that way to showcase the mystery aspect of it all and try to piece it together like a detective. Here, again, it's just a gimmick. It's like, well, it's almost as if, I know that's not why he did it, but it's almost like, hey, he made this film. And here's the thing, if this film was done in regular order, that sequence would still be just a 10-minute uninterrupted sequence of someone being assaulted. But I just don't see the point of it. I don't see the... Just a useless fucking bullshit movie that I would never care to see again. That literally gave me a headache in the first 25 minutes to the point it was hard for me to actually watch. And I don't really care about the characters. There's really not much development. That much on the characters. It wasn't a great movie to look at, honestly. Acting was fine enough, I guess. Well, the guy begging to be fisted for 5 minutes, I'm honestly laughing. Thought it was fucking laughable. The whole BDSM club scene was laughable as fuck. And then again, the last 30 minutes were just anticlimactic because you've already seen the most important pieces of the story, and now you just this kind of mundane effect where this blasé bit too little too late to try to have some development of character now. But whatever. That's just me. So I hated this fucking movie. I will never see this film again. So, with that said, we'll see you later. Bye-bye.